Dear students, I hope you all are fine. Welcome to social science class. Today's session number 15, bridge course. Today's topic we are learning the Sultans of Delhi. In this chapter, we are learning to understand the development of political institutions, to learn about the Sultan's military strategies and resource mobilizations, to carry out to study of the Tughlaqs. These all concepts today we are learning in this topic, the Sultans of Delhi. History of India here. The earliest rulers of the Delhi Sultanate were the Mamluks. In the 1206, Mahmud Ghori died in the 1206. See here, he was the Mahmud Ghori. Mahmud Ghori, the ruler of Ghor kingdom, wanted to extend his territory right up to North India. In his quest to conquer the North India, he came into conflict with Prithviraj Chauhan. In 1191, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Ghori in the first battle of Tarain. In 1192, in second battle of Tarain, Ghori attained the absolute victory over Prithviraj Chauhan. See here, he was Mahmud Ghori. So next see here, I am talking about establishment of Delhi Sultanate. The viceroy led to, after the death of Mahmud Ghori, the established Delhi Sultans, the year 1206 to 1526, the Sultans are ruled in Delhi. See here, the victory led to the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate, which ruled the country from 1206 and 1526. This period saw the rule of five powerful dynasties. In the between of 1206 to 1526, the five rulers, powerful dynasties ruled the Delhi. So they were, the first dynasty was Slave dynasty. Slave dynasty ruled 1206 to 1290, and the Khaljis dynasty ruled 1290 to 1320. The Tughlaq dynasty ruled 1320 to 1414. The Sayyid dynasty 1414 to 1451, and last dynasty was Lodhi's dynasty 1451 to 1526. Okay, so these all dynasties, powerful dynasties are ruled Delhi. Okay, and this period paved the new cultural amalgamation of the Hindu and Muslim culture. This led to emergence of composite of culture here. So which was reflected to all the aspects of language, type of language, art, architecture, food and dress. So first dynasty is Slave dynasty. So Slave dynasty is started 1206 and it ended 1290. See here, when Mahmud Ghori died in 1206. Mahmud Ghori was died in 1206. His most trusted slave, Qutbuddin Aibak, became the chief of his territories in India. Aibak is considered to be founder of the Mamluk dynasty. Here, see here. He was the Qutbuddin Aibak. Aibak was the founder of Mamluk dynasty. The term, the meaning of Mamluk means slave. Mamluk means what? Slave or owned. So this dynasty is known as Slave dynasty. Understood? So Qutbuddin Aibak, he was started the rule Slave dynasty 1206 to 1210. Okay, and see here, when Qutbuddin Aibak became the ruler, he realized that the new kingdom was vulnerable both to internal and external threats. So he was used matrimonial alliances to strengthen his position, and he married the daughter of Aldous, the governor of Iran, and his daughter married to Iltutmish, one of his most trusted slaves, and also the successor of his throne. Aibak was known as for generosity and kind-heartedness. So he was given the name Lakhabaksh. He was given the name what? Lakhabaksh, giver of lakhs. He built two mosques, the Quwwat Islam in Delhi and Dahi Din Ka Jopra in Ajmer. He even started the construction of Qutub Minar but could not complete it. So Aibak did not add to Turkish conquest in the India, and he was died 1210 when he fell off a horse while playing polo. See here, it is a slave dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak laid the foundation for the slave. See this. So this all is slave dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak was ruled this all these. Okay, he was the founder of Mamluk dynasty. This is Qutub Minar. He was started the Qutub Minar, but it was completed. Afterwards, Iltutmish. Iltutmish, the successor of Aibak, Qutbuddin Aibak, he was get the throne. He was ruled slave dynasty 1210 to 1236. Samshuddin Iltutmish, his full name was Samshuddin Iltutmish, was the son-in-law of Qutbuddin Aibak. He is regarded as the real founder of the Delhi Sultanate. He shifted the seat of governors from Lahore to Delhi. So Delhi came to occupy the premier position as the capital of Hindustan. Iltutmish had to deal with many rebellions, but he was successful in defeating the rebels and executed most of them. He consolidated Delhi Sultanate by extending his control up to the Indus and hold the Multan and Sindh towards the east. Extended his control over Lucknow. It is the Bengal and Bihar. So before name it is the Bengal and Bihar's Lucknow. He brought under his control and Rajput territories Bayana, Ajmer and Sambha. Iltutmish created an entire new class of ruling elite called Chalisa or group of 40. The death of Iltutmish. See, the death of Iltutmish was followed by political instability. There was acute struggle among the nobles. So after his death, and his daughter Rajia Sultana started the ruling slave dynasty. So she was ruled slave dynasty 1236 to 1239. Iltutmish had nominated his daughter Rajia to succeed him. However, he was succeeded by his son Rukunuddin Firoz. So his incompetence and unpopularity gave his sister Rajia an opportunity to claim the throne, but Rajia did not enjoy the support of the Turkish nobles. So eventually, with her political skills, the own or her majority of the opposing leaders, she was a competent and brave ruler. Rajia put on the tunic of the headdress of man's attire of day-to-day administration, and she even abandoned the veil. She appointed non-Turkish, and the announced the Turkish nobles there was rebellion in Delhi, and elsewhere in the kingdom the Chalisa conspired and killed her. And in 1200 39. Okay, in 1239 she was died here. The officers under the resented taking order for her and dressed as a man she led her army in battlefields, and this created displeasure in the male dominated society. Some of her nobles plotted against her and she was killed in 1239 or 40 AD. Okay, he created means Uttar confusion and chose. See here. Afterwards, when she was died, then slave dynasty get the throne Nasruddin Mahmud. So in 1200, 1488 means 1400, 1248 AD, Nasruddin, the youngest son of Iltutmish, was crowned as the king. Okay, and devoted the Muslim and a peace-loving man. He was a failure as a king. Administration was carried on by his general Balban. Balban, he was the Balban because Nasruddin Mahmud was just a figure head king, and real power as wielded by his chief minister Ghiyasuddin Balban. On the death of Nasruddin Mahmud, Balban became the king. See here, Ghiyasuddin Balban, he was started ruling slave dynasty 1266 to 1287. So, Balban's ascendancy to the throne marked as the beginning of the era which was characterized by centralized governance. He adopted the Iranian theory of kingship. According to this theory, the king was divine, he was the shadow of God. Okay, and see here, he was the strong-willed, powerful personally, and a member of Chalisa or the 40 group of Turkish nobles. And he was selected the trained by Iltutmish for his self-defense after the death of Nasruddin in AD 1266. Balban became the Sultan of Delhi and a strict disciplinarian. He recommended simple living. Balban died 1287, and his grandson was last ruler of slave dynasty. He was murdered in 1290 and the throne went to Khalji's dynasty. Here the Khalji dynasty means slave dynasty was ended here. So how many rulers are ruled Khalji's slave dynasty? So first ruler was Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Rajia Sultana, Nasruddin Mahmud, Ghiyasuddin Balban. Ghiyasuddin Balban was the last ruler of slave dynasty. So after next dynasty came here, Khalji dynasty. Khalji's dynasty, see here. So this was the 1290 to 1320 AD. So among the Khalji kings, the most ambitious was Alauddin Khalji. Means here first one coming here, Jalaluddin Khalji. He was the first king, first ruler of Khalji dynasty. Okay, and Jalaluddin Khalji unpressed the throne by killing the Balban's grandson during the reign of Mongols. So invaded India 1292. After some skirmishes, the Mughals decided to withdraw without a fight. There seems to have been some sort of an agreement between the Mongols and his nephew and son-in-law Alauddin Khalji. So he was the son-in-law Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khalji started the ruling 1296 to 1316. Alauddin Khalji occupied the throne by murdering the Jalaluddin Khalji. Sir Alauddin Khalji did not believe in Jalaluddin's theory on benevolence. He adhered to Balban's theory of administrating through evoking fear. He revived the system of spies of Balban's Alauddin. Okay, see here Alauddin Khilji, he had means bigger dreams than Balban, like Alexander. He wanted to conquer the world. He ascended the throne by killing his uncle and father-in-law apart from Gujarat and Malwa. He captured the famous Ranthambore and Chittor forts. He even sent a large army to the south under the command of Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur looted and collected very huge hauls of gold from different kingdoms. He attacked even Madurai. Thus, for a brief period, Alauddin Khalji's domain was large as that of King Ashoka. So, being an able administration, he brought about many reforms. He kept administration and religion separate. He introduced price control and market control. This everybody were able to get food items at low prices. Bribery was punishable. Soldiers received money as salaries. Land revenues was according to the size of the land. Alauddin was a lover of art and music. He was encouraged and respected artist. Here Amir Khusro was member in his court, and musical instrument sitar and tabla were invented by him. So after him there was and member in his court, musical instrument sitar and tabla were invented by him. After, see here, immense of power struggle in 1320. But Alauddin Khalji was a great administration. He initiated many reforms which made the empire military. The financially sound, realizing that they needed a large continuous supply of wealth for his military companions, he undertook many reforms. So here Khalji dynasty is over. In the Khalji dynasty ruled two kings, Jalaluddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. Okay, so afterwards, when it ended the Khalji dynasty, here came Tughlaq dynasty. Okay, see here, Tughlaq dynasty was ruled 1320 to 1399. Actually 1413 is there. The Tughlaq was wished the possession of an empire. See here, the Tughlaq did not adhere to the policy of non-annexations of far off states and were not content with the mere submission of such states. Thus, during their rule, Delhi Sultanate extended to Warangal in Telangana, Malabar in Coromandel, Madurai in Tamil Nadu, and Dwarasamudra in Karnataka. So, whenever any territory was annexed, okay, revenue officials, some revenue officials of Sultanate would assess it. The central government maintained accounts of distant tracts and province. So here he was the Muhammad Tughlaq. Muhammad Tughlaq was ruled 1325 to 1351. But before 1320 to 1325, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, he was ruled the Tughlaq dynasty. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq reorganized the administration. He sent his son Ulugh Khan to restore imperial position in Warangal. He sent to Noble to deal with the rebellion in Gujarat. He himself marched to Bengal to reduce to submission. On his return from successful campaign, a pavilion was erected by his son Ulugh Khan. Ulugh Khan, he was Mahmud Tughlaq. Okay, to welcome him. The pavilion crashed and crushed him to death. So afterwards, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he was. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq ascended the throne 1325 to 1351. So in Tughlaq dynasty. So Muhammad bin Tughlaq ascended the throne at Tughlaqabad. So the fortified the residence is decreased for them. He was one of the most educated of all the preceding sultans of Delhi Sultanate. He was well versed in Persian, Arabic, Turkish, even Sanskrit. He was well read in subjects of astronomy, philosophy, mathematics, medicine, and logic. Muhammad bin Tughlaq undertook several experiments, most of which were ill planned and failed. So, as the project failed, the royal treasury emptied. So, there were outbreaks of rebellion, different parts of the kingdom, so which the Sultan failed to the control. See here. So, Delhi, Devagiri, which is the renamed. Delhi to Devagiri, which was renamed Daulatabad, failed his another plan of having copper and brass coins. Also failed here. Ibn Battuta and means an Arab traveler visited the Sultanate and has written extensively about the kingdom. So he was the Ibn Battuta. Also he was Ibn Battuta and Arab traveler. He was visited the Sultanate in Delhi Sultanate, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. In that time he was traveled to Delhi. So he was written in extensively about the kingdom. Muhammad Tughlaq lost the support of his nobles and the ulema. Ulema means Islamic scholars. Revolts broke out in Bengal, Warangal, Gujarat, Sindh, Awadh, Multan and Daulatabad. So after his death, so next successor means Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he was get the throne, Tughlaq dynasty. So he was ruled Tughlaq dynasty 1315 to 1388. Firoz Shah Tughlaq successful Muhammad Tughlaq, he became very popular because he spent less on war and armies, are more building hospitals, educational institutions, bridges, canals, etc. for the welfare of the people. So during his time, many Sanskrit works were translated to Arabic. Okay. So here Firoz Shah Tughlaq, he was the Tughlaq was the cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq died means he did not have any heir, and neither he did not anyone nominated. So the sheikhs and nobles and ulemas elected Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He tried to revive the tradition of a state based on goodwill and welfare of its people and visualized by Jalaluddin Khalji. So he allowed a policy of appeasement different sections, means nobles, soldiers, administrations, clergy and farmers who had felt alienated under Muhammad bin Tughlaq's reign. He led two companions to Bengal. He raided Orissa and Nagarkot and also led a companion to Lower Sindh. These did not add to Tughlaq territories of the Delhi Sultanate. Firoz Shah spent 2.5 years in Lower Sindh in companion against Thatta. Firoz Shah founded the city of Hisar and decided to dig 2 canals to bring water to the city from Sultan and Satluj and Jamuna. He set up the separate department for the upliftment of the poor and needy. He introduced the practice of old age pension and also opened the employment of Beru. So it is about Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So next see here Taimur. Taimur is a Mughal, means a Mongol invaded India. He had heard about the wealth of India. He marched to Delhi and defeated the Tughlaq rulers. Taimur's deputy Khijr Khan settled in the Delhi and declared himself as the Sultans of Delhi. He was the founded Sayyid dynasty. Which dynasty was founded? Sayyid dynasty. Okay, so which lasted for 37 years. This dynasty was so usurped by the Lodis and Afghan tribes. See here about, I am talking about Said dynasty. Said dynasty, it is started 1414 to 1451. Khizr Khan, okay, he was the seer, the founder of Said dynasty, and it is lasted 37 years. And here Lodi dynasty 1451 to 1526. So I am talking about now Said dynasty, about Said dynasty. The first ruler of Said dynasty, Khizr Khan. So he was ruling 1414 to 1421. The Said dynasty was established by Khizr Khan. He was appointed by Taimur to be the governor of Multan. Multan means now present Punjab. Khizr Khan took Delhi from Daulata Khan Lodi. So on May 28, 1414, and founded the Said dynasty. After his death, Mubarak Shah Said, he was ruled Said dynasty 1421 to 1434. Khizr Khan was succeeded by his son Mubarak Khan. Mubarak Shah styled himself as Muizuddin. Mubarak Shah in his coins, he spent most of the time of his rule in controlling the rebellion of the nobles. After his death, so next ruler Muhammad Shah Sahid, he was ruled Said dynasty 1434 to 1445. After the death of Mubarak Khan, his nephew Muhammad Khan ascended the throne and styled himself Sultan Muhammad Shah. After his death, Alauddin Alam Shah Sahid, so he was ruled the Said dynasty 1445 to 1451. So just before Mahmud Shah died, he called his son Alauddin from Badaun and nominated him as his successor. The last ruler of this dynasty, Alauddin Alam Shah, so voluntarily abdicated the throne of favor of Bahlul Khan Lodi in 1451 and left for Badaun. He continued the life there till his death 1478. So here Said dynasty ended. So afterwards came here Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty is ruled at 1451 to 1526. Bahlul Lodi was the first ruler. He was ruled Lodi dynasty 1451 to 1489. In 1451, Bahlul Lodi and Afghan chief deputed Alauddin Alam Shah Sahid and establishment the Lodi dynasty. He suppressed rebellions and installed loyal Afghan nobles in strategic positions. He extended the boundaries of the Sultanate to parts of Punjab and Bihar. So after his death, so next ruler was the Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar Lodi was ruled 1489 to 1517. Nizam Shah or Sikandar Lodi, as he was more popularly known, was another powerful ruler, the dynasty who extended the boundaries till Bihar and Bengal. He also undertook the welfare measures like lowering the prices of commodities. Under his reign, Agra became the capital city of the empire. So his death, after his death, Ibrahim Lodi came. He was ruled Lodi dynasty 1517 to 1526. Ibrahim Lodi was the last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate. It is said to that he was the arrogant ruler and treated the Afghan nobles with little respect. In retaliation, the nobles invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul, to invade India. Babur met Lodi in the first battle of Panipat in 1526 and he was defeated, the later leading the establishment of Mughal Empire. See here, Ibrahim Lodi was the last ruler of Lodi dynasty. Okay. And see here, his noble people conspired with the Babur, the king of Kabul, to overthrow the succeeded in 1526. So I hope students today's topic, the Delhi Sultans of Delhi, understood. You make the points clearly, okay, and afterwards send it in my WhatsApp number. And again, next session I am starting taking in next class. Now, thank you.